course, Honorable Yusuf Gagdi has been with us. You've been listening, and intentionally, I wanted you to listen to the lawyer to the protesters. Give me a sense of how you assess this whole scenario as it played out altogether since morning.
Well, I am not here to join issues with lawyers or the protesters, but I appreciate having the privilege to listen to one of the lawyers to the protesters of the demands of the professors. But before I say anything, I want to be proud of where I'm coming from and be proud of my age group, being one of the youths of this country. And as a representative of the people, I say it without any fear of contradiction, that I stand with the people and with the yearning of the people. Why am I proud, Shehu? I'm proud because I'm from Plateau State. You've had the press conference, press statements of the Inspector General of Police mentioning states where there were breakdown of laws and order. And I'm very sure Plateau State was not mentioned. And in all the protests that I have followed, I have seen leaders that today I stand bold to say I respect them. Leaders like the former Minister of Sport, Solomon Dalung, as well as Prophet Isa El-Buba, who were part of the protest, leading protesters in Plateau in a very civil manner, in a very respectable manner, respecting the rights of the traders, the right of the motorists, the right of the people of Plateau State. And I wish to say, without any fear of contradiction, that just like some other states in Nigeria, I think we should learn from the protests that took place in Plateau State today. We have learned our lesson. We are not willing, the people of Plateau are not willing to destroy lives, properties of the citizens of the state, but they are willing to advocate for good governance. They want a just and egalitarian society. They want a society that is free, that provide equal opportunities for all citizens. And I commend the protesters of Plateau for being very modest, for being very respectful, for respecting that, yes, protests can take place in a very democratic and conducive environment. But again, the lawyer have spoken. I am not here to speak for government, not even the National Assembly, because I'm not the spokesperson of the House of Representatives, let alone any of the leadership of the House of Representatives. I'm here to talk for myself and perhaps the people I represent in the country. That is the people of Panshinkanke Kanam Federal Constituency, which I have commended, that I am proud to come from Plateau. But again, you see, protest should be done like it is done in Plateau State. We are, including myself, advocating for good governance. We are saying that the suffering, the hunger, the insecurity that is happening in the four angles of Nigeria must be reduced to the barest minimum. Yes, agreed. But in the course of doing that, if you don't do it peacefully like it is done in Plateau, you end up destroying institutions of government that are established with the taxpayers' money. This same taxpayers' money that you are advocating for prudency, that you are advocating that it should be used judiciously in such a manner that it should reduce the suffering that is being faced by the Nigerian people. You end up, bringing down institutions that are established with same taxpayers' money, that at the end, it is the same money that you want it to be judiciously put into use, to put together those facilities.
One of the agitations of the protesters is that they do not want full-time lawmakers. You are one of the lawmakers.
Yeah.
Are you willing to cut your salary? Or are you willing to be a part-time lawmaker? This is one of the agitations.
Shehu, whatever the Nigerian people advocate for, I am with them, for better, for worse. See, prior to this moment, I have not expected that I will be a member of the House of Representatives. I am one of the representatives, I say it without sounding immodest, that speak for my people. I don't speak for government. I speak for the people I represent. Then if the people I represent today, should there be any decision by the people of Nigeria that yes, my salary should be cut, why will I challenge that? Should there be any position by the people of Nigeria that yes, we should run a part-time parliamentary system of government. Why should I be envious of that?
But do you think, in your own right, that some of you, the political class, are so changing the Nigerian people? You are getting so much that the impoverished Nigerians are languishing in poverty, while you and some of your friends are really, really enjoying the money the taxpayers are putting into this country.
I have two things to say here. When you generalize statement, I think that is unfair to the system. I am a parliament. Nigeria practice presidential system of government and practice bicameral system of legislature, where you have the Senate and the House of Representatives. I think this is where the people say we should have either scrap one of the bicameral system to practice a unicameral system of government, which, if that is the decision of the people, I agree. But to generalize that anybody in government is using taxpayers' money to live his life, I think I will personally take exception to that. People elected us to come to House of Representatives and Senate, including the president himself. The people that elected us to be where we are, they know the antecedent of these people they have elected to be where they are. If, for instance, a member from Plateau has been living maybe a very comfortable life with the businesses he does, and today you have elected, you cannot draw a conclusion that all people that are elected to represent people in the National Assembly.
You don't think that
with taxpayers' money? You have asked me, I have answered one.
Yeah, just a moment. And following up on the one that you are answering, you don't think that the lives of the Nigerian political elite is too ostentatious, is too flashy for the kind of... You will only understand that answer if I tell you what is expected of a parliament. I am a parliament. I think the life of some Nigerian politicians is not worthy of living, particularly as regard to their offices. I am a parliament that is expected to make laws for peace, order, and good governance. You want minimum wage, you expect the National Assembly to make laws to adjust such system. You want, yes, a reform policing system, you expect the National Assembly to make laws and make sure that Nigeria compete with all the developed or developing countries of the world in terms of their pieces of legislation. And Sheung, I have 5 legislative aides. I have senior legislative aides. I have assistant legislative aide. I have legislative aide. I have a secretary and a PA. Now I am elected with 5, including my researches, are expected to be conducted by those 5 legislative aides. Here you have an appointee of a government, a minister, for instance. I have 1 car, yes, that people clamor, yes, National Assembly have bourgeoisies of car. I expect the leadership. 60 million worth of car.
I don't have that. I have a Prado. I don't know how much it is purchased.
No, we understand it's
it is given to me. But my brother, let me tell you one politics surrounding that. This is not what we should be talking about. But let me use an opportunity to speak about that. I have my payslip here. If I have a car given to me as a member elected by the people to represent 3 local government, 1 car, which is expected for me to use it, travel home and engage the people, that at the end of the day, that money for such car is being deducted from my salaries. That money for allowances that people are talking about is being deducted from my salaries.
Is it being deducted?
It's being deducted. I can prove to you as I'm seated today, it is here.
What do you earn as allowance and salary as a lawmaker?
I earned as my basic salary and allowances as a lawmaker is 1,333,250.
That's your salary?
It is here with my payslip.
What about your allowance? That's the basic salary.
Allowance is not given to me as a member.
Where do you...
The leadership of the House run the House. I am not expected to give a person that maintains the lifts of the House, to give a cleaner of the National Assembly, to give drivers to all the National Assembly Service Commission, to pay the salaries of those members of the National Assembly Service Commission. Now, if
so
you are...
all your staff, just remember, all your legislative aides and staff are being paid directly by the National Assembly.
Certainly, even in my salaries, only my PA 42,000 is being provided for, and I'll transfer it to your phone so that next time when you are talking here, you talk. What I want Nigerians to understand, I'm not here to defend political office holders. I'm not here to defend National Assembly, but I wanted to make an example for you to understand one thing. As an elected representative, that is what I am being paid. And here, with 1 car, you have appointed a minister. You didn't give him the status of a member of the House of Representatives, and the work that a member of a National Assembly does supersedes that of the appointed minister. But here you have a minister with a Land Cruiser, with a backup Land Cruiser, with a Hilux, with a backup Hilux, with 8, more than that of a legislator that represent the people. I think we need a different time for this conversation. What I'm here for...
But you are the ones oversighting the executive.
Yes.
You are the one approving the money to buy... Just for a moment. Yeah. You are the one approving and appropriating the monies meant to buy the vehicles for the ministers.
Yes.
Why didn't you stop it?
That is why, if you ask me today, the agitation that is being conducted by the people of Nigeria should have been conducted by we, the representative of the people of Nigeria. Because you are in a political office position, when the truth comes, you say the truth. In times of the suffering, the hardship, this high cost of living, you are elected to represent the people. Speak for the people and ensure those things are being...
So you have the opinion, but again, you agree, Honorable,
without any...
that the political elite is being overfed. Why the Nigerian people are hungry?
Absolutely, absolutely. Without any fear of misrepresentation. I say this any day, anytime. I've given you an example. Let any minister of the Federal Republic come here and tell me that his convoy is not bigger than that of the member of the House of Representatives or the Senate. If you see any parliament, excluding the principal officers of the National Assembly, running a convoy, he is running it at his own cost. It is not government-allocated vehicles or what. But you appoint someone, look at budgets of ministries. If National Assembly exercises and discharges some of this oversight function you are saying correctly, which we are trying our best, I think some of these things will be reduced. But the ministries that I'm even talking about, sometimes it's not every money that is being provided for directly through the budget. They have intervention from the government, particularly the central government. In this circumstance, if you are not privileged to appropriate allocation of such funds to those political office holders, you will not know how to trim, limit, or oversight on those. So we are improving, I'm sure. I have tell you without any fear of contradiction.
So the protest is justified from your own point of view?
But the actions of the protesters in vandalizing public institutions that obviously their demands was to ensure an enhancement in the standard living condition of the people. Their demand was to ensure the prudency in the utilization of taxpayers' money. Taxpayers' money are used to establish institutions. But call them protesters or whatever name, they have used themselves to vandalize such institution that is being established by taxpayers' money. And again, it is the same taxpayers' money you will use to fix those NCC office in Kano and other. How does peaceful protest relate to a pharmacy in Kano, a business person that is operating his business in Gombe, and all the states that you have those breakdown of laws and order? That is why I say protest of that of Plateau is legitimate. I support them. I agree with them for their peaceful nature, where you see people irrespective of political party, irrespective of religion. You have seen it in social media, where Muslims were praying Zuhur prayer today. It is Christians from Plateau that provided security for them in one designated protest venue. They prayed and they moved on with respect, with the identity of the leaders that led such protests. I have mentioned Professor El Buva to you here. I have mentioned former Minister of Sport to you. I have seen them in social media peacefully, proudly holding the Nigerian flag and saying that there must be an end to the harshness in the standard living.
Is that a credit to Governor Caleb Mutfwang?
I don't know. It's credit to the people of Plateau.
All right, let's take a break. I'll come back. There's so much more to talk about this protest and the way forward. The most important aspect of all of these is a lesson that we need to take. The government, the Nigerian people, those who are in power, about the state of our nation. This is the giant of Africa, everyone. We need to really realize our status on the planet Earth. We are big. Nigeria is a big country in the world. And we need to realize that we give us a sense of the need, urgent need for us to move forward. But we'll take a break, everyone. When we return, we'll be giving you more insight, some perspectives from some other states. When we return, everyone. Join us again. Thank you so much, everyone, on our continued coverage of the End Bad Governance protest, which is taking the nation by storm in some sense, because we've seen a lot of action and reaction, counteraction, and of course, some escalation leading to violence and skirmishes that we've seen, of course, in Rivers State. The governor came out to meet some of the protesters whom he commended in the state for being peaceful, despite the reality of the economic hardship which prompted the agitation. Of course, when he made some offers to them, it caused some of them to respond in some ways. But let me allow you to see the scenes in Rivers. This is Port Harcourt earlier today. Take a listen to Governor Siminalayi Fubara.
Problems to the federal government. Like I said, it is not easy. It is not easy. But we know quite all right that very soon everything will be well. Starting from our own state. Starting from our own state, everything will be well. What we just need is to support the government. Support the government. Support the policy. In the beginning of the policy, it might be harsh, but at the end, everything will be fine.
That was the situation earlier today in Port Harcourt, the capital of Rivers State in South Nigeria. In the southeast, of course, Governor Hope Uzodinma, who is also the chair of the APC Governors Forum, has been speaking about the implication of an escalation of the protest and warning Nigerians to take heed to the call for calm and patience for the government to deliver on its promises. Take a listen to Senator Hope Uzodinma, the governor of Imo State.
Well, I have called for wise counsel to prevail. First, I start by thanking Almighty God and also my people, particularly not only Imo State, from the whole southeastern region, for agreeing and resolving not to participate in this protest. Because you can see, experience has shown that over the years, each time there is any violent protest, Igbos pay dearly for it. The shops being looted in Kano belongs majorly to Igbo people. The one in Lagos, the one in Borno State, the one in Yobe State. So for anybody to support the disability of our businesses, to say the least, is not acceptable to an average Igbo man. So I think also from us, but with what we have seen, that the current agitation, which is contrived by aggrieved politicians.
That's Governor Hope Uzodinma of Imo State earlier today. Let's get back to our conversation and our concluding moment with Honorable Yusuf Gagdi from Plateau State. Fundamentally, some Nigerians would love, especially some of the protesters who are agitated, would love if there are some reactions, especially in cutting down the expenses, the money that goes into servicing the lives and lifestyles of those who are in power. There are those who will even argue. You are saying that some of what you get as a lawmaker is modest compared to a minister. There are those who will say, look, in fact, all of these scenarios are incorrect in the sense that those who are serving Nigeria should not be getting so as much. You said you're serving 3 local government areas. You see, you have a House of Assembly member, you have a senator in that representation. And all of these monies are used to service the people that are supposed to serve the people.
Well, Shehu, one thing I will tell you for free, and I will not hesitate saying, is that the nature of Nigerian democracy make it possible for members of the parliament at both states, local states, and the federal level to be under pressure based on the principle of our democratic trinity. Why? Because you contest election and go to meet people in their doorstep to ask for vote for you to be where you are. So as a result of that, there is a familiarity between you, the representative of the people, and the people because you stand for the people. It differs with someone that perhaps is not known even in the political cycle and tomorrow he is appointed a supervisory councillor at the local government level, a commissioner at the state level, or a minister, as the case may be, at the federal level. They have not interacted with the people the way all of the representatives of the people have done that. So, analyzing the easiest person that a Nigerian have access to is his own representative. A senator, a member of the House of Representatives, a state assembly member, or a councillor. The access that the people of Nigeria have with the minister, it's not as open as go to National Assembly and see the people that visit National Assembly, because it is people's
But
assembly.
Nigeria cannot afford it. We may be living an ostentatious life. And when I say we, I'm saying as a nation.
Sean, we should not read my role. I have told you this up initial.
What should you and your colleagues be doing?
If today
yes,
the Nigerian people decide to say that we should even practice parliamentary system of government, I have no problem with that. I have where ministers are chosen within the elected parliament. I have no problem with that.
We're talking about 360 members of the House of Reps, 109 members of the Senate. So people are saying in the reality of Nigeria today, maybe we do not need that number of the...
I am not here to defend that. If that is what Nigerians want, I am optimistic. I stand with the Nigerian people. But again, I have told you something off record here. Let me make it public. You have 360 representatives and 109 senators. The budget, including over 1,000 staffs of the National Assembly. The budget of the National Assembly is not 1/3 of the budget of some of the ministries of government that is being budgeted by the National Assembly themselves, brought as a proposal by the executive. So, what I want is this. There are bold issues that even the National Assembly itself, plus the people of this country, like the people are advocating, they want a free and democratic society, I agree. They want a just and egalitarian society, I agree. They want a land that is bright and equal opportunities for the representative and the people they represent. I agree. So and that is why I tell you, I gave you example with Plateau. There is a protest. It is peaceful. The demands are there. I believe we have a listening president. Let him look at those demands. Let him speak to Nigerians. Let him see the way out of what Nigerians are advocating.
You are a leader of the APC, and there is so much agitation against your party. What would you say that the president should do immediately to douse this agitation?
To first study the demands of the genuine protesters. Genuine protesters. Because I can tell you for free that political class in Nigeria, most of us are not patriotic and are not responsible. Because you can, from the statement of some of this political class in opposition to APC, I don't want to bring politics in this, where you see some leaders in some states are equally using their Twitter pages, using their statement with engagement with members of the press to call for the protest. Not even cautioning that the protest must be peaceful, like it is being peaceful in Adamawa, in Plateau, and some other states. Politicians took advantage, take it or leave it. In some states, there is political tune to the destructions of government institutions, the destructions to businesses owned by private individuals. If the political class were responsible and responsive, I believe protests will be peaceful like the one in Plateau, and it will achieve its purpose of president sitting down to listen to the demand of the protesters, call the leaders of those protesters on board. They are human beings. You are the president for the people of this country, include both the good and the bad. Then look at the legitimate. What are those conversations? What are those issues that if responded to quickly by government, it will, ensure, it's not about calling off protest. It's about action of government that will ensure that Nigerians are eating. Action of government that will ensure that a common man on the street can afford 3 daily meals with 1,000 or 500 like it used to be. Inflation, economy, call it whatever. The common man in Nigeria doesn't even know what economy is all about.
Those who are already judging your party to say your party has failed, what do you say to them tonight?
There is no party in the history. If you give anybody leadership, there is no aspect of that leadership that if you are allowed to be judged, that you will not be found responsible for. some defect and deficiency. A lawyer sat here and told you the amount of money that is being sent to the states and the local government. Someone have come here to tell you the effort. I'm not here to speak for president. I am here to speak for the people of this country. I'm here to speak for Panchin Kanche Kana Federal Constituency. But at the risk of taking risks to respond to your question, money are being channeled to governors. Do we hold them accountable and responsible for multi-billions of naira that is being allocated to them on monthly basis? What about the money that is sent to the local government council? Have we seen development or initiative at the local government level and state level that seems to complement what the president perhaps may be doing at the national level? At the 36th show, let me ask you, if you are judging my party, if we should be political, the 36 state governors are not all from APC. Tell me, are the people distinguishing the governor that is on the platform of APC or PDP or Labour Party or ABGA in transforming their life? No. They are generally saying government. And in defining government, in this sense of the word, in the true sense of it, as in the case of this protest, you cannot exonerate other political parties of failing. Because the senators have APC and PDP, yes?
Your party is at the center. Yes. The indices of our national life is being controlled by the action or inaction of the government at the center. And how do you defend that anyways? There are those who will say, look, in the last few months, maybe and maybe not, some of the ministers in the cabinet have not stepped up to the plate. They're not doing
as a parliament, I agree with those people that the ministers, you cannot say all of the ministers have performed. Ask me to rate them. I have performed oversight function. I belong to so many committees. But again, your work as a parliament is to call the agency or the ministry in this case to order that we have appropriated this amount. What have you done with this and that? It is not your responsibility to fire any minister. It is only your responsibility to say that that ministry did not perform to expectation. And in this sense,
what do you say to those who are asking for the president to sack some of his cabinet members?
I think if I am the president, I would have sacked most of them for lack of performance in the administration. People have hope in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. People know his performance as a Lagos state governor. I have come here to tell you that I prefer Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu before election, a governor that have transformed one of the most difficult states into one of the most developing economy in Africa. I have said that here. I have come here to say that. Then the expectation of Nigerians is that the ministers will support the president in delivering good governance and dividends of democracy. I'm not saying all of them have failed, but take it or leave it. As a parliament, I speak for Nigerians. I cannot equally admit that those people clamoring for president to remove some of the ministers that have not performed are not right. They are right.
If you imagine that the president is going to rejig his cabinet, does it make sense to have as much as 40-something ministers in a country where we are barely surviving?
The man is a democratic guru. I'm sure he is listening. I'm sure he is watching. I'm sure he is reading. And I'm sure he is feeling the pains of the legitimate protesters across the country. But what I can assure you is that I'm not him. So it is not within my own power to confirm.
What would you do?
I will reduce the number of the ministers.
To like how many?
I cannot tell you because governance is not like coming to national TV to just say 50-20. If I tell you, for instance, that out of 40-something ministers, if I were the president, I would reduce it to 20-30. It means I don't even know what governance is all about. You have to make a proper study of the country, a proper study of the existing ministry, which ministry and which ones are supposed to be matched for the collective good of the country before you come up with a number of ministers that should survive in the government.
Honorable, as we close now, are you worried that your party is becoming very unpopular?
Very, very worried. Very, very worried. But I'm equally optimistic that if what my party is doing, particularly the president is doing, I have said it, I'm not here to defend him, and the policies that are put in place, as well as if the agitation of the legitimate protesters of ensuring that hardship, economic policies that seems to suffocate the performance and the life of the citizen of this country, it's looked into. Believe you me, the image of the party will be beyond its image in the past. But until the right thing is done, do not hope that with the way things are going, I cannot tell you that I'm not concerned about the impression that people have about the party. I'm more concerned about the fact that the party have allowed political opponents to take over and do things that are not supposed to be allowed to be done. We must be patriotic. I've said
in fact, there's who are saying that the government needs a cabinet of national unity. I don't know what if the president is thinking in that respect, because it's come to a moment in our history that we really need those who are patriotic and who are serious about the business of government.
But how do you, of course, again, if people are clamoring for that, people should equally know that you cannot be talking about government of national unity and be suffocating a government that is in place. People take advantage of happening to blackmail.
Take people across political lines that can get the job done. No matter their political
Let me tell you something. A lot of states are regretted some of the illegitimate activities regarding to the protest that is happening in those states that led to the destruction of public properties. It is, in the first instance, perhaps must have been instigated by those people. And people should come out to protest. People are protesting, and some miscreants are burning houses and stealing, breaking warehouses to steal food items and water.
People will go out tomorrow, from what we understand. What would you be saying to them just in 20 seconds before?
They should emulate the protest that is happening in Plateau, Adamawa, and some other states across the Federation.
In the Zanga-Zanga.
They should emulate the protest that is happening in the Southeast and South-South. For the first time, I commend the responsiveness of such leaders to say, yes, come out and protest, but let there be decorum. Let us protest in peace. Let us not protest by, destroying properties that belong to individuals or properties that taxpayers' money are used to put in place.
Honorable Yusuf Gagdi, chairman of the House Committee on the Navy, member representing 3 local government areas in Plateau State. Thanks so much indeed.
Thank you very much, Yangu. Thank you for having me.
That's it tonight, and closes our continued coverage for today, for this hour on Channels Television in the protest, the August protest that we tagged it. The promoters of the protest have called it the End Bad Governance protest. We shall be continuing to cover for you. Stick with Channels Television. On behalf of the team here, we'll be serving you from the early hours of today. I'm sure Kimberly, and we'll see you tomorrow. God bless Nigeria. Bye-bye.